Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Blind Culinary Cook. Once again, we're hoping that all is being safe and careful during the pandemic. And we're also wearing pink because it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and also the White Cane Awareness for the Blind. So celebrate in a big way for all those events. And remember, you can go to my website, the Johnikin Barnes Foundation. Johnikin is spelled Johnikin, and donate to the blind. And if you want, please go to amazon.smile.com and pick the Jonathan Barnes Foundation so the proceeds can go to the company, because the pandemic is going around that we cannot fundraise to help blind acquire assistive technology. And I have one more place to donate to, if you would mind. If you would go to Princess House or www.princesshouse.com/F Downs and 001, not 007, but 001. And proceeds will go to the Jonathan Barnes Foundation if you'll go to the website and buy crystal dishes or whatnot. Today, we are planning to make turnip greens a la Lisa. And let me tell you about Lisa. Lisa lives in Texas, my cousin, and these greens are in her honor. So I want you all to help her make some greens. And if you see her, her name is Lisa. I can't tell you her last name for confidentiality, but you'll know her. Say, these are your cousin Freddie's greens from California. And if you know Lisa, then you'll know who I'm talking about. Now this pot is a Princess House pot that we have in the catalog, and it makes good greens. Let me tell you, it keeps the heat inside and cooks them. So greens sometimes take a little longer to cook. With this pot, 2 to 2.5 hours will get it done for you. Now what I do is we're going to put a little bone broth in the pot. You know, bone broth is good for the collagen that you need in your body, and it gives a nice good taste. So, whoops, there's one, and I have a second one. Now, if you really are, and this is for the blind, intimidated about cooking on the stove, you can actually cook your greens in a crock pot. Once I put the bone broth in the pot, then I like bouillon in mine, so I have bouillon cubes. Now, you know, if you use bouillon, what I do is I use the chicken bouillon because I'm going to use smoked turkey wings or thighs as my meat. But if you use a beef smoked neck bone, then you use the beef bouillon. And I like for it to sit in there to dissolve so it can season the broth. Because bone broth is not as seasoned as you think it is. It's just a good nutritious value for collagen. Because, you know, a lot of people believe that they don't like to eat the bones. They like boneless meat, and that takes the collagen away from your food. So you have to put the collagen back in there, and bone broth does that for you. And of course, you know, if you're from the South like I am from Mississippi, We were told to clean as we go, so we no longer need this. I'm gonna throw it away. And while that sits there, let's get our water together for the greens. I already cut up the greens and I washed my hands, but we'll do it again. And you know I like to wet my hands. Put the soap in it. And you know, you wash your hands for a good minute. And your drain going down so that any dirt will go in the bottom of the sink. It's down the drain. You must know your kitchen so you know where everything is. I'm trying to think of a new person to tell you about. Her name is Linda Lewis. So Linda told us the story when she was a little girl cooking in the kitchen. She forgot to wash the greens correctly. And so in Mississippi, we were taught to put cold water on the greens to let them soak. And we're gonna put vinegar, salt, and baking powder. Baking soda in it. So it helps to, if there are any bugs in the greens or dirt. So Linda forgot to, well, she didn't forget. She was 12 years old. She was half cleaning the greens, and she left a lot of dirt on it, so the greens would grit. Her mother and aunt made her eat the whole pot of greens with the grit on it so that she'll learn to clean the greens all the time. Now these greens have already been cleaned, but you know I like to show you how it's done, so that's why I'm redoing them. And because this show is also for sighted people as well as blind, I suggest that the blind people buy greens in a bag that's already cut. But for those of you who are sighted and want to know how to do it, I left one out just for this occasion. Now, what I do is I cut the greens in half, then I put it on top of each other and I curl it or roll it. Then I cut down in the middle. And then I cut from the end, going in. And you know, if you're not careful, what you do is you bend your fingers and you let your knuckles be your guide. So that way the blade does not cut your knuckles off if you're unexperienced. And it's up to you whether you keep the stem or not. Then I may just chop just to make sure it's not a big leaf. Then I put it in with the rest of the greens. Make sure I have enough water. And we're going to clean up our area as we go. Oh, I'm still gonna need that plate, huh? For the onion. So let's throw this away. I'm gonna take vinegar baking soda and salt. So the salt and baking soda and vinegar, remember, helps the bugs, and the bugs come to the top, the dirt go to the bottom. Do, 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 do. And let me tell you another story about another person. And you know, I changed the names to protect the innocent. Someone called and said, "Oh my God, you threw Imani under the bus and you named her name." But I changed her name. So nobody, only the people that know the story would know who I really was talking about. And like Linda is not really her name. Only the people who know the story will know who I'm talking about. But Lisa is her name. I just didn't tell you her last name. Because these are called greens a la Lisa. And I would appreciate if you really subscribe to the channel so that you can get notices every time we put something on. And if you want to email me, you can email at jonathanbarnes@gmail.com for any suggestions on what we cook that's coming up, because we're going to do a banana pudding that's out of this world, homemade with the custard, and then we'll do one with the Jell-O mix called banana pudding a la Tracy, and then we're going to do fried chicken. We have a lot of things coming up. Oh, chicken adobo and pizzas. We have a lot of things coming up, so stay tuned. Always come back and check. So next, we will take, I like the turkey here, so we're going to take this. You don't have to rinse it because it's smoked, but you know, not knowing how people are smoking these days, I still rinse it off. Wow, I'm sorry, I should have already taken it out of this package. Let's go ahead and rinse this first off. Oh, let me tell you, I just moved in this apartment, so I have not found my apron and hat yet. I'm still looking for it. I might have to order a new one so that we could be properly attired in the kitchen. I didn't open it. And remember, whenever you're using a knife, this is a tip for the blind, or sighted too, always turn your blade inside so that way you don't have to worry about picking it up that way and go for the handle. But if you make that a habit instead of just putting it down, you'll always know how it stands or sits. And even, like I was telling a friend of mine that was helping me get dressed, they wanted to iron my clothes. So I had to teach them, put the iron at the end of the ironing board with the cord going down so the blind can touch the cord and then reach up to the iron and not get burned. So you have to consider those tips when you're dealing with the blind or blind yourself. If you haven't gone to any of the colleges or blind schools to learn the techniques, that will be one of them. I might need a, do you see a steak knife over there? This serrated one? to open this.
Here you go.
Thank you. Oops. And you cut away from yourself so that you don't cut yourself. Well, they really package these things.
You want me to open it?
Yeah, you want to pause the camera and do that for me?